Let me ask you something real. If you were cornered tonight in a dark alley, if someone twice your size grabbed your collar, shoved you against the wall, and demanded everything in your pockets, would your martial art actually save you? Or would it collapse the moment fists fly for real? See, most people think martial arts are all the same. Punches, kicks, blocks, fancy uniforms, but that illusion is dangerous. What works inside a dojo with rules, referees, and mats often dies instantly when you're out in the streets. Out there are no weight classes, no breaks, no timeouts, and absolutely no mercy. This is where the truth gets uncomfortable. Because if you're practicing the wrong art, if you've been investing months or years into something that only looks good in theory, you're not preparing yourself. You're hypnotizing yourself into a false sense of security. And when the time comes, that fantasy will betray you. The reality is simple. In a street fight, survival is the only goal. It's not about honor. It's not about perfect form. And it's definitely not about impressing the crowd. It's about ending the threat before the threat ends you. Period. And here's the brain-twisting part. Most martial arts were never designed for that. They were built for tournaments, rituals, discipline, or just performance. Which means if you're relying on them for real combat, you're already losing before the fight even starts. But here's the catch. Some martial arts do work. Not because they're cool, not because they look cinematic, but because they are raw, tested, and brutally effective when fists, knives, or chaos erupts. These are the arts that strip away the fake layers and put you face to face with reality. And if you understand them, if you train in them, your chances of walking away from a street fight skyrocket. So let me brainwash you right now, in the most honest way possible. Forget everything you think you know about martial arts. Forget the movies, the choreographed fights, the myths of one-punch knockouts. What you're about to hear will cut through all of that and show you which martial arts are pure survival systems and which ones are just entertainment disguised as self-defense. Because when the street becomes your cage, when adrenaline burns through your body, and you're just one mistake away from the hospital, or worse, the difference between fantasy and reality is the difference between losing everything and walking away alive. And in this video, I'm going to expose that difference to you. 1. Boxing, the king of hands. Let's start with the most underestimated but brutally effective art, boxing. People laugh and say, it's just punching, but they don't understand that, in a real fight, it's not fancy kicks or acrobatics that save you. It's the ability to put someone down fast with your fists. Boxing teaches you more than throwing hands. It hardwires your body with timing, footwork, and head movement. When chaos hits, when adrenaline is pumping, the fighter who knows how to move his head off the center line, how to slip a punch and counter with a bone-cracking hook, that fighter owns the street. Here's the manipulation most people miss. Street fights are short. Seconds, not minutes. One clean punch is all it takes to decide everything. And no martial art in history trains you to throw devastating punches under pressure like boxing. That's why street predators, gangsters, criminals, even prison fighters often rely on boxing. Because it works, it's quick, and it's lethal. 2. Muay Thai, the art of 8 limbs. Now, boxing may own the hands, but Muay Thai owns everything else. This is the martial art that turns your body into a weapon. Elbows like razors, knees like hammers, and shin kicks that can end a fight with one strike. Imagine this. Someone grabs you in a headlock. A regular guy panics. A Muay Thai fighter, he drives his knee up into the ribs or the face until the attacker collapses. No hesitation, no wasted motion. The beauty of Muay Thai is its simplicity. No fancy techniques that require years to master. Just raw, tested violence. And the clinch. The clinch is the street fighter's nightmare. Once a Muay Thai fighter has your neck, you're done. No amount of flailing or punching saves you when a knee is tearing through your stomach or your face. This is why Muay Thai is worshipped in underground fight circuits. It doesn't just work, it dominates. And if you want to walk away from a street fight, mastering even a few basics of Muay Thai can make you untouchable. 3. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the ground game. Here's the cold truth. Most street fights end up on the ground. People slip, they get tackled, they trip. And when that happens, if you don't know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're gambling with your life. BJJ isn't about looking tough. It's about survival. You don't need to be big. You don't need to be strong. With BJJ, a smaller person can choke out a giant in seconds. Arm locks, triangle chokes, rear naked chokes. These aren't flashy moves. They're fight enders. Here's the manipulative part. People think they can fight back when they're pinned on the ground. Wrong. If your attacker knows BJJ, you're not fighting back. You're suffocating. You're tapping or you're going unconscious. And that's why BJJ is a weapon for the weak. The skinny guy, the smaller woman, they can use BJJ to dominate someone who thought size would win. In the streets, where everything is unfair, that's the equalizer. 4. Wrestling, the dominator's choice. Now let's talk about raw control. Wrestling. This art doesn't look flashy, but it's one of the scariest things to face in a street fight. Why? Because wrestlers decide where the fight happens. If a wrestler wants you on the ground, you're going down, whether you like it or not. And once you're there, they'll pin you, smash you, and make you feel like you're drowning under their weight. That control breaks people. It makes them panic. But here's what makes wrestling even more dangerous in the streets. Takedown defense. When someone tries to grab you, when they try to slam you into the pavement, wrestlers know how to resist, how to counter, and how to stay standing. Combine that with brutal slams that can literally end fights in one move. And you realize why wrestling is feared in real confrontations. It's not elegant, it's not beautiful, but in a street fight, dominance is everything. And wrestling gives you dominance in its purest, rawest form. 5. Krav Maga, the street killer. Finally, let's leave the sports behind and step into reality. Krav Maga. This isn't a martial art built for tournaments. It was designed for war, for soldiers, for survival in the dirtiest situations imaginable. Krav Maga isn't about style, it's about ending threats fast. Eye gouges, throat strikes, groin kicks, weapon disarms. This is the system that doesn't play fair, because the street doesn't play fair. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If your opponent pulls a knife, most martial arts collapse. They weren't designed for blades. Krav Maga? It was. If your opponent tries to swarm you with multiple attackers, most styles freeze. Krav Maga? It trains you to smash, escape, and survive. It's not about winning. It's about not dying. And that's the ultimate difference. While other arts train for rules, Krav Maga prepares you for chaos. That's why it's brutal. That's why it's feared. And that's why it belongs on this list. So now you know the truth. Not every martial art belongs in the street. Only the ones that are raw, ruthless, and proven when chaos explodes. Boxing for the hands, Muay Thai for the limbs, BJJ, and wrestling for control, and Krav Maga for the kill shots. That's it. Everything else? Flashy, fancy, and useless when your life is on the line. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of you are already typing furiously. What about karate? What about taekwondo? What about Wing Chun? And you know what? I want you to argue. Because street fights don't care about your opinion, but the comment section does. So tell me right now, which martial art do you trust with your life? Which one would you bet everything on if tonight was the night you had to fight for survival? Drop it below. I'm ready to see the wars begin in the comments. And remember, the street doesn't care about your belts, your trophies, or your theories. It only cares about one thing, whether you walk away or you don't.